Welcome to another edition of Green is Good. This is the Wharton iGel GE Innovation Water Technology edition of Green is Good here in beautiful downtown San Francisco. And we're so honored to have with us today Heiner Markoff. He's the president and CEO of GE Water and Power and Water and Process Technologies. Welcome to Green is Good, Heiner.
John, thank you for having me. It's great
We're
to be
so
here.
honored to have you. You're one of the great hosts today. And for our listeners and viewers out there to learn more about Heiner's great work with his colleagues, please go to www.gewater.com. Before we get talking about this important conference and what we're doing here today, talk a little bit about your background. How did you become get this very important position at the iconic and amazing brand GE to be leading on this critical issue of water?
Yeah, I'm a long-time GE guy.
Okay.
So I've been with the company almost 22 years.
Wow.
In different businesses, in different positions. A lot of that in the plastics area when we were in that business before we sold it. And I've been leading the water business for the last 6.5 years. And a lot of what we do is really developing advanced and marketing advanced technologies, water treatment technologies, to address the challenges around the world with regard to water scarcity, the water quality aspect of it, helping our customers, industrial as well as municipal, to meet environmental regulations and drive productivity in their operations. So it's a fascinating, very challenging industry where we are active in, and this discussion today with a lot of thought leaders in the industry is very timely to address some of the challenges specifically here in California.
Right. Well, let's be honest. You are running one of the leading brands in the world in terms of cutting-edge technology, and it's by design that Wharton and GE came together to host this important conference. We're sitting in California. We're in Northern California, specifically close to Silicon Valley, one of the bastions of innovation and technology in the world. And we're talking about water here and the water crisis, but also opportunities here in this drought-stricken state. Talk a little bit about some of the cooler and really cutting-edge technologies that GE Water and Power has that can help us and give us hope that we can solve this problem and we can fix this in our generation.
Yeah, I think the good news up front, technologies are available.
It's great.
And it's been implemented in parts of California and other parts of the world. If you look at places like Singapore or Israel, which have faced very challenging situations with regard to water supply. The technologies that there's several angles to tackle this problem. One is just conservation and storage, driving really basic measures in that respect.
Right.
But the other way, really, where technology comes into play is water recycling and reuse.
Okay.
With advanced membrane technologies that we've developed and implemented, and we're working very closely with our customers there. And the next part is generating desalination as another way of making more water available. But we think really the conservation part and the water reuse part are the more economic ways to address these challenges.
And GE already has the technologies, like you say, the membrane technologies that will allow us to recycle and reuse gray water, black water, and waters that exist out there.
We have there are more than 1,000 facilities around the world that use our membrane technologies for water reuse, both mostly indirect potable reuse, but you can even, if you looked at Singapore, for instance, they even produce potable water.
So Heiner, share a little bit with our listeners and our audience around the world, because our audience for Green is Good is not only here in the United States, but it's a worldwide audience. What are the recycling rates of water and the reuse rates of water approximately in Israel and Singapore?
Yeah, I think Israel is right now almost at 80 or 90%. Wow. Singapore is between, I'd say, 35 to 40 at this stage, with a clear path that they've laid out to get to 60. And here, overall in the United States, we're somewhere between 6 and 8.
Which is
So there is ways to drive this, to improve this, proven ways, Technology is available, and I think we just have to have a multi-pronged approach between outreach and education, between policy making, incentives, to really address this from a holistic perspective.
Well, you bring up a great point, and I don't want to get too philosophical here, but Israel and Singapore, you just laid out, are literally many, many steps ahead of us in terms of their recycling and reuse rates. You're here today messaging this. This is important, the continuing messaging of the hope and the technology that exists. Why does the media not cover the fact that the technology exists, and what is the pushback here in the United States, both on a regional and national level? If the technologies exist, why aren't we already at 30 or 40%? Is it social? Is it political? Is it cultural? What's the pushback?
I think it's all of it.
Okay, that's fair enough.
So I think we gotta have a political come together of minds to really develop the will to do this, and to drive implementation of these measures and technologies. That's one. The second is clearly a social and / cultural thing, where we just have to overcome the thought that we reuse water. But again, the technologies are there to get any wastewater to a drinking water standards, and there are a lot of technologies and measures that support that and make sure that health requirements are met. So I think the technology is available. We need to develop the political will, and we need to educate and reach out to make sure people understand what's available, what's best available technology, and also need to understand that these technologies are safe and being used around the world.
So really, you're bringing a message to our listeners and to the audience today. This is truly a message of hope. The technology exists. It's just now overcoming some of these other barriers and hurdles.
Right, and we continue to work on technology developments to get to the next level, and a lot of it is related to improving the cost. Getting more cost competitive, because at the end of the day, it goes into whatever all of us have to pay for water.
Right.
But no, continued investments in developing the next generation of membranes, the next generation of energy efficient ways of reusing, recycling, and treating water. I think the basics are there, the hope is there, and I think we gotta educate, reach out, and drive political will in our society to make it happen.
Well, Heiner, you're the person to make it happen. I'm going to leave you with the last word. This is your conference. I'm going to leave you with our listeners and our viewers with the last word before we sign off today. So, given where we are and what's going on and what you know, and because you have visibility not only here in the United States but around the world, share what you think the couple of years ahead for GE and water innovation and technology has in store for all of us.
I think the message here is innovation will help solve the drought problems that we have around the world. We're investing in it, the industry is investing in it, we're working together with our customers both on the industrial side as well as on the municipal side to really improve these technologies, to implement those, make them more cost efficient every day, and help address the challenges that we have. Because if you really look at it, water is a prerequisite for economic growth, for population growth. And if you overlay maps, and I think you had another interview with Aqueduct before, if you overlay these maps, a lot of the areas of economic development and huge population growth, are areas that lie in regions with severe droughts. So we need to develop, we need to think about this, we need to develop these technologies, implement those technologies to continue to drive, to progress the world.
You have 1,000 installations today, and I hope you have another 1,000 really soon. It'll make the world a better place. We really thank you for all your great work, Heiner, at GE, the leading brand in water technologies around the world.
Great.
Thank you very much. For our listeners out there, to learn more about Heiner's great work at GE and all of GE's great work in leading technologies in water and power, please go to www.gewater.com. Heiner Markoff, you are truly living proof that green is good. Thank you very much.
John, thank you.
Thank you.